Australian-made satellites will be launched on a SpaceX rocket from early next year. Canberra-based Skykraft and Air Services Australia will put 200 satellites into orbit over 2 years. The project aims to limit turbulence for travellers and enable planes to travel the most efficient route. Currently, aircraft can only be monitored up to 400 kilometres from land and within sight of radar. Moving traffic management into space will deliver more comprehensive coverage over oceans and rural areas. And joining me now is Michael Frater, CEO of Skykraft. Martin, great to have you on the program. Thanks for coming on. You've got these 200 satellites you want to launch into space over the next 2 years. Exactly in your words, what will they do and how are they going to improve life in Australia?
What they're going to do is to improve the management of air traffic. So it means, as you said in the introduction, that if you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and your aircraft hits turbulence, rather than having to wait 15 minutes or even half an hour for the pilot to get a clearance to change to a smoother altitude, they'll be able to get those clearances much more quickly, as if they were very close to a major airport. It'll also mean that the fuel burn of the aircraft will be reduced. This means that it saves money for airlines. What it also does is to reduce the environmental impact from aircraft.
Okay, so right now Air Services Australia doesn't know where every aircraft is once airborne in Australia using these ground-based systems, if they are out of range by ground systems.
At the moment, the ground-based systems have limited range, and that's both in terms of the tracking of the aircraft, and it's also the ability of an air traffic controller to talk to the pilot. And so by putting systems in space, we can fill in the gaps between the ground infrastructure, and that applies equally over remote land areas, such as outback Australia, as it does in the middle of oceans.
It's a big project. How much is this costing and where are they going to be launched from?
They're going to be launched from the US by SpaceX. So our launch next week is at Cape Canaveral, on a launch pad very close to the one that was used by the Apollo missions. The overall cost of the project is something of the order of $200 million. But one of the things that we really pride ourselves on in Skykraft is the work that we've done to reduce the cost of putting systems in space. And that means that Australian technology is going to be in a great position to augment and replace ground-based communications infrastructure in the future.
Could this have been done without SpaceX? How important is SpaceX to Australia's space industry at the moment?
Having access to regular launches that are reliable and at a price that's affordable is really important to the global space industry, and obviously that includes the Australian space industry. We found SpaceX in particular to be a great partner to work with, and we're looking forward to working with them through the rollout of our whole constellation.
Can these satellites also detect very small aircraft?
The satellites can detect any aircraft which broadcasts its position, and increasingly around the world, it's mandated that all aircraft actually carry transmitters which tell air traffic controllers where they are. All you need is to have a receiver which is within range of that transmitter, so that that information can be passed to an air traffic controller.
Here's a bit of I guess, a left of field question for you, but could these satellites have made a difference in the case of missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 in 2014, where it left radar range and then crashed?
So I guess, first of all, let me say I'm not an expert in air safety investigations.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But from what I've read in the press, it's believed that the pilots deliberately turned off the transponders that were transmitting their position, and so we wouldn't have been able to prevent that. But what systems like ours would enable air traffic controllers to do is to instantly detect that that's happened, rather than the situation with MH370, where it was several hours before they realised that the aircraft had gone missing.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on the program. It sounds like a great thing that you're doing there, and hopefully we'll chat to you again soon.
Oh, it'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.